Hello everyone and welcome to the FilmDirt Lounge. I've continued my study of the Alien movies by revisiting tonight Alien Resurrection. As with my previous Alien reviews, I've watched the extended cut, special edition, director's cut, whatever you want to call them, with this one being only 7 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. And bar some very minor tweaks, I didn't really notice anything wildly different. The film's tone is exactly the same. It's still a really weird story, and we've now gone into very strange territory with this film. So this one's directed by Jean-Pierre Jeanet, with Sigourney Weaver returning, and some great members of the cast in the other leading roles, namely Ron Pearlman, Winona Ryder, and Brad Dourif, I recognise straight up from many films. And the basic plot is Ripley has been cloned from blood samples found during Alien 3, all to get hold of the Queen Alien that's burrowing within her chest, just waiting to be hatched. And it's interesting, we're onto the topic of cloning. That's really the only way to get an extra film out of Sigourney Weaver, who definitely died at the end of Alien 3. There was no getting out of that. So this must have been an excellent payday for her to reprise her role a fourth time. So I'm quite amazed that they managed to clone her in the first place, along with the Queen Alien inside her, because they said that 2 centuries have elapsed. So within all that time they never got another alien sample. And why did they leave it so long? One of the many questions I've cared to ask myself, or am I looking too deeply into this? Because it is a really light story. And I have to say, it's not a very interesting one, and definitely not as interesting as the previous 3 films. We've gone from 2 excellent films to an okay film, and now we're on the 4th film with this. When I first saw the theatrical cut, I didn't really think much of it back then, and it was never really held in any high regards between my friends or in any review I read of it. It was always seen as the lackluster final sequel. And like I said, it just seems just a really weird film. You've got those scenes of Ripley writhing around in the hive, and the baby newborn that's, kind of human but not. Ripley herself is kind of human but not, because she's taken on, I believe, characteristics of the alien. And apparently she's also got super strength and super speed, as she sort of demonstrates here and there. Lots of running around corridors. And it just overall seems like a very cut and paste action movie. We've got a beast that's escaped, and we have to think of ways to survive and entrap the beast. And to me, that's pretty much what we get. There's nowhere near the amount of character development and storytelling of the first 2 films, and definitely none of the excitement, and definitely none of the interest. But I do like some aspects of it. I do like the cloning story. That's a good way to bring a character back. And it's probably something a twisted company would do just to get their hands on this embryo. And the cargo they paid for, which was live people to be impregnated, it's just sinister. And it's interesting in a weird kind of way as well, although the whole film is weird. So, what else have we got? We finally see aliens swimming. And some of the computer effects here are not good. I think they had a problem just making the aliens look wet, because they're kind of glittering, and it just really pulls you out of the movie. And there's also a couple of shots straight after the swimming where an alien seems to be dodging bullets. It just seems to be really, really unrealistic. You're testing our patience with this. We already have to get on board with this story, but don't stretch the boundary too far. You're asking too much here, and they have gone a bit too far overboard with a lot of this stuff. There's also a lot of wise guy back chat. There's none of the grounded material that we saw in the first film, and in some cases the second film as well, and even the third. We've got lots of back chat, arguing, and again more unnatural camera movements, which I've mentioned in previous reviews. I don't like the camera just constantly moving around and ramming straight into close-up. I get why they did it. Some of these sets do look cheap and dark, and it's probably the same corridor used multiple times. So to hide that, let's go straight into the actor's face. It just makes them look bulbous and popping out at you. It's not a very realistic situation. And all it does is just makes it look like a camera is rammed straight into their face. It's not making the audience believe they're watching this story unfold. They're showing us it's just a movie, and not a very well filmed movie at that. And also the whole movie is very dark, and there's clearly some kind of brown or that greeny gold filter over the lens, so it makes everything look ugly and murky. I think they've dialed up the filter to 10 in some shots. But it's also dealing with an ugly subject matter. The alien queen giving birth, it's not anything pleasant to look at. And of course the newborn is, intentionally ugly. And we get this Ripley being the kind of surrogate mother, has got some kind of attachment to it. So we're just watching many scenes like this go by and not really feeling any connection to the characters, the story, or even the situations they're dealing with. Just really finding myself waiting for the movie to end. Unfortunately, it's not really that long. I think it's just shy of 2 hours and only 7 minutes longer than the theatrical. Mainly I think that was a very strange intro with some kind of CG fly being squished. And the ending scene of some kind of cursed earth or some kind of destroyed earth. It was 2 centuries later, I guess, so something happened. It looked like we've entered a new movie. I think it looked like Mad Max, maybe. So another ending that's not very happy. But as for the aliens, I think they look really good. Some of the costume effects really do look a lot better than the CG ones. You can't really beat a man in a suit. And they've done something here with the aliens. It's a slightly new design. It looks more organic and less pipes and kind of large veins or whatever the original was supposed to be. Some kind of mechanical organic crossover. But these look very black or very dark brown and also very oily. There's a lot of goo everywhere. They just look glistening all the time. Even the eggs, which are now kind of writhing and pulsating. It's a very strange imagery. But the good thing was I saw this with a few friends of mine, and they suggested watching this because they saw my previous review, so may as well round off the series. And that's how I recommend watching Alien Resurrection. Watch it with some friends rather than on your own, because you can all just sit down and not laugh at it, but it's more entertaining when you're just sharing some of these weird visuals with others. Because I don't think the story is very deep. It's a pretty basic chase movie with some nice callbacks to the originals. We get the new synthetic played by Winona Ryder. We get the great Ron Pearlman as well. And some of the guards we see here on the ship, I think their helmets look similar to the ones used in Starship Troopers, as well as sets from some space TV show. So let's give this a score. I can only give it 2 stars. It's really not that good. And I'm kind of disappointed that this is Sigourney Weaver's last outing to date. And she probably took a lot of money to do this, because her character's natural end was Alien 3. And whichever version of this movie you watch, you're getting the same experience. Just see it with friends like I did and you'll have a much better experience. Okay, thanks once again for joining me for this review. Join me again soon, because I may continue my little Alien tour. I'm not sure which one to watch next. It's either Prometheus, I could go that way, or go down the Alien vs Predator route. If you're interested to see me review a particular one, just let me know in the comments down below. Or if you don't care which, then I'll just toss a coin when the time comes. Thanks once again. Join me again soon. It was great speaking to you. All the best and take care.